Hi Timothy, good morning. It's Daphne here. Thank you for sending in your next task for correction. So we've got a pie chart here. What a horrible pie chart to have to write about. I find this very distressing, and I expect you did too, writing about it. It's not nice, is it? Now, my main comment here is that your essay is a bit short, or your response is a bit short. The guideline is 150 words. I reckon you're on 98. So we need to find some more things to say. You'll see in the email I've sent you a link to a recent podcast that was done by one of my colleagues about pie charts. And at the bottom of it, it gives you some useful language. So you're finding the right information, you're commenting on the right things, and the order of it is absolutely fine. But this gives you some sentences which are a bit longer and that will just boost your word count. Okay, so I don't have a problem with the structure of what you've done. So the pie chart shows a proportion of 6 different animals being tested. Now, I put being used for testing, but being tested is fine in America. Overall, rabbits. Now, rabbits can't contribute. If you contribute, you're giving something, and I don't think the rabbits are choosing. So I'm being a bit kind of fussy about that, but I think you need to be using the passive tense most often in this, assuming the animals had no choice. They were tested by somebody. Overall, rabbits were the creatures used most for testing, whereas the lowest contribution was made by sheep. Okay, so that's your nice overall sentence. Okay, just checking on those ones. We don't have a number for sheep, do we? No. Okay. Good. So more detail. Rabbits accounted for almost 40% of species used for animal testing, followed by hamsters, which comprised just over a tenth of the total species used, you could put. And I've added in this, around 11% lower than rabbits. So I've just added in a little tiny bit more detail, because you haven't given me the percentage of hamsters. Oh, yes, you have over a total. Okay, and then I've just added in a little bit more than that. So good, you've given me a percentage, you've given me a quarter, and I've added in a comparative. So we're doing lots of things all in one sentence. Here I put ranked third. Just over a tenth of the animals species tested were made up by dogs. Yeah, okay. Were comprised of dogs, you could say, if you wanted to. But I've added in that little bit ranked third. Pigs and primates only had a mere 0.3% difference, each at 9.3 and 9% respectively. Yes, very nice and good use of respectively. Well done. Ben's favourite word. Good. Only a small fraction of you'd have to have total species, because sheep is a species, of total species or total animal tested was made up of sheep at less than 9%. Okay, good. What I've done here is added in one more line there. It's notable that the proportion of, sorry, I should have put that, rabbits tested accounts for almost the same total as dogs, primates, and pigs combined, making them by far the most relevant species used for experiments in the USA. Okay, so I've added in a final sort of comment, which is, how much is that? 35 words. You see, it's quite quick to get a few more words in there. So I think you need to find one more sentence to go in there. Okay. Otherwise, I think it's a good response. What I like is the variety of language you've used. So you've understood not to just repeat exactly what is said, percent, which makes it very heavy. Okay. So have a look at that link I've given you and see if you can add one more line in there. But otherwise, it looks okay. Just length is the only thing. This is a really impressive essay. I think you've answered this really well. I've just got literally a few comments. You've worked very hard to vary your language, which is really impressive. So the lexis throughout this looks really strong. Also, you've got some great grammar structures in there, which you've used very correctly. So well done for that. My daughter is doing her driving test next week, and I am going to give her your essay to read, because I think that will make her think about road safety. Thank you for that, Tim. Okay, so better drivers for better driving habits. Yeah, okay. So driving offences have become an increasingly concerning issue around the world. Experts, now, instead of around the world, again, maybe we can put in globally, just to avoid repeating that, just to watch out for that on these general sentences. experts globally have debated whether imposing severe consequences on driving offenders or providing additional driving training to drivers would be more helpful to alleviate. Yes, or for me, more natural sounds in alleviating, but I mean, this is not incorrect. So I would go more helpful in alleviating the issue of unlawful driving. But this is just what you've done is totally correct. For me, it's just what sounds more natural. Although there are merits to both points, I'm more in favour of the latter statement. Okay, this essay will discuss both sides using examples from relevant research by the UK government. I would put a capital G for government because rather than governments in general, you're specifying the UK to demonstrate my points and arguments. Good. There's ample evidence that the number of driving offences is rising because many countries do not implement strict penalties on drivers who break rules. Good. This can be explained by the fact that most drivers underestimate the. Now, because we're talking about money later on in terms of fines, I'm suggesting here dangers or risks of unlawful driving when punishments are unnoticeable. Yeah. Maybe almost unnoticeable, because I mean there are punishments. We're not saying that there aren't. Yeah. Okay, so cost, we can use cost for money, but we can use cost for danger as well. So for example, I wouldn't go some research, I'd just go in there with research. So recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that the majority of drivers, now, I don't know if we talked about this before, but personally, I think when you're using research examples, you should go into reported speech because this is done, finished, and the research is saying what happened in the past. And also I think you get points for showing a complex sentence by using reported speech. So you're going to put this into the past perfect. So the majority of drivers in London reported that they had only become. So they had only has to go in the middle. They had only become conscious of the seriousness of unsafe driving after the implementation of heavier punishments on drivers, such as expensive fines, demerit. We don't have this word. It may exist, but we don't use it. We just say penalty points. And oh, sorry, shouldn't be there. Come down. Penalty points. Or imprisonment in some extreme cases. Okay, so I think when you're in, I'm sure you know how to do reported speech. Your verbs have to backshift a tense. So had become, which is great because whoa, more complex grammar, and the examiner will go, thank you. Therefore, it's conclusively clear that if heavy penalties were incurred, most drivers would follow the rules. Lovely conditional sentence. So you're getting maximum points here on fancy grammar. Well done. Although the implementation of punishments, so putting in place is a bit informal, let's go formal. Implementation of punishments are, then you want my verb, able to deter drivers from unsafe driving. You don't need however, although you don't need however as well. It should not be forgotten that, here we go, an improved system of driver education or driving education, doesn't matter, is fundamentally important as it leads to the decrease of road accidents. Good. Excellent, very, very nice, strong sentence, nicely developed. This is largely because drivers with extra practice are likely to become, I would go more aware of the safety, we would say road safety, and become compliant with driving regulations. We would say and comply with. You don't really need to become compliant, just go comply with. It's still a very, very good word. Driving regulations or local driving regulations, because we're talking about all over, aren't we? Numerous research studies have consistently found that most drivers in the UK who have undergone professional driving training are less likely to commit driving offences as they have developed awareness and sense of safety on the road. Okay, so if you're going to have safety on the road here, definitely put road safety there, then you're not repeating those same phrases. Thus, there's a strong correlation between optimal driving education and safe driving practice. This is really, really good. I mean, seriously good. I'm very impressed. It's a difficult subject, and you are tackling it in an extremely professional, academic way, giving me some really good arguments and developing them very nicely. Well done. As such, it can be concluded that, even though taking measures on offenders, punitive measures, The adjective from punishments. Measures. Imp. So taking. Imposing. Come on, let's go. Imposing punitive measures on offenders may result in less unsafe driving. A high standard of driving education is ultimately better, as it enables drivers to enhance their skills, which in turn makes them a safer driver on the road. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Thank you for that. Really, really good essay. You should feel very confident with that. I think it's really, really good on many levels. Well done. Thank you.